Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here with what sounds like some really good news. We are learning today that Jennifer BonJean, who is the New York-based attorney whose career actually began in Chicago, but she is the attorney that appealed Bill Cosby's conviction and had it successfully overturned. She has filed papers to join R. Kelly's appeal team, or rather to lead his appeal team. And so according to the Chicago Tribune, BonJean told the Tribune she will spearhead Kelly's post-conviction motions, and should U.S. District Judge Ann Donnelly deny Kelly a new trial, work on an appeal before the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. So it looks like they are first going to ask that the convictions be overturned and that he receive a new trial. And then if that doesn't work, they will do an appeal. And so the post-trial motions are due on Monday, but BonJean, who has just signed on, has asked for a 2-month extension so that she can get everything together. And then the article talks about the fact that, she was the driving force behind Bill Cosby's appeal on his conviction in Pennsylvania, but then, ended up winning his release. And she said that she's, quote, looking forward to getting familiar with the record in Kelly's case, which was anchored by Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, charges that she called a kitchen sink approach. And she went on to say, I am becoming increasingly concerned with how the government is abusing the RICO statute in order to plead around the statute of limitations and essentially put people's entire lives on trial. It's becoming a formula for the government. You have a right to defend yourself against specific allegations. And so BonJean said that she saw similar government overreach in another high-profile case that she's also handling. So she's handling the appeal for Keith Raniere, who you guys know was the guy that was over the Nexum cult. Now, Keith Raniere was out of control, but even more so out of control was these stupid women that went behind him because they were paying to go to like this self-help. I guess it was supposed to be like a self-help type place, and then he ended up getting them to donate all this money, and they became his sex slaves and all of that stuff. And I think at some point they need to start looking at women's mental health, that you are so easily led astray, so easily gullible, to be looking to people to fill whatever void is missing in your life. So I think that the Keith Raniere case is definitely a little different than Mr. Kelly's case, because he actually was extorting money from these women. He was preying on, women that were rich, that were wealthy, who could fund this lavish lifestyle and this compound that he was keeping them on, although they were free to leave. But I go back to, women need to get themselves together mentally, that you don't fall for stupidity like this. So anyway, the article goes on, to talk about the conviction that took place on September 27th. And basically that he was charged and found guilty of using his music career to further a criminal enterprise. And the jury found him guilty of 12 individual illegal acts, including sex with multiple people that they claim were underage, as well as the 1994 scheme to bribe an Illinois public aid official in the case with Aaliyah, where the two supposedly got married. And so Kelly, who is currently being held at the federal lockup in Brooklyn, faces 10 years to life in prison when he's sentenced in May. The other members of his legal team, Deborah O'Canick, Thomas Farinella, and Nicole Blank Becker, will continue to work on sentencing issues, BonJean said. And I'm just thinking at this point we need to get Nicole off the case, but we're going to roll with Ms. BonJean if this is, she's okay with that. And so the singer is also charged in the U.S. District Court of Chicago with running a years-long scheme to buy back tapes he allegedly made with girls to bribe or coerce witnesses in his 2008 CP trial in Cook County, which ended in acquittal. The U.S. District Judge Harry Lineweber has set trial for August in that case. And I want you guys to pay attention, because when we originally started with that Chicago case, it was about Rashana Landfair, now supposed to be testifying. And then it was about, these other people, like the Tiffany, can't think of her name, but you guys know who I'm talking about, Tracy Simpson, and a couple of other people. So now they're twisting the narrative, and they did the same thing in the New York case. They started out talking about one thing, and then by the time it went to trial, it was something totally different. Remember, he had this enterprise of bodyguards and managers and runners, and then when we get ready to go to verdict or go to the jury, then all of a sudden they change the language to say that the enterprise doesn't have to be a criminal enterprise. But in the beginning it was a criminal enterprise, but then they changed the language to say it doesn't have to be a criminal enterprise. So now they're trying to say that the whole Northern District of Illinois case is centered around the whole scheme with Lisa Van Allen, and where her and Damon Friar and the other guy were trying to buy those tapes back from him, or trying to sell the tapes. They had stolen the tapes and he was going to pay to get the tapes back. So now they're, slowly trying to change the narrative of what the Northern District of Illinois case is going to be about. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out if it actually goes to trial. So then they say at a hearing earlier this month, Kelly's Chicago-based attorney Steve Greenberg said Kelly was in the process of revamping his legal team in the New York case, which underwent a dramatic shakeup in the weeks leading up to trial. Greenberg and BonJean have worked together closely on several cases in Chicago and elsewhere. Greenberg and his co-counsel Michael Leonard are also representing Kelly on indictments filed in Cook County in February 2019, alleging that the abuse of 4 victims, 3 of whom were underage at the time. Okay, so I guess that explains why Greenberg, had been on Twitter, posting cases and trials that this woman had, this attorney, Jennifer BonJean, has won recently. He was on Twitter sharing and then acting like he was working with her on those cases. So maybe some good will come out of the hood, Greenberg. Okay, some good will come out of your shenanigans. And so we'll just have to wait and see and follow along. And then, once she files those motions, you guys know, as always, I will get them and we'll be sharing them with you. So just wanted to bring you guys this news that the appeals attorney for Bill Cosby, who successfully won his appeal and had his conviction overturned, is now has signed on with R. Kelly's case, and she has requested a 2-month extension on filing post-trial motions. And so hopefully Donnelly will agree to that, because in my last video where I read her reasoning for the denials at the beginning of this case, she basically alleged that one of them was because Thomas Farinella had filed the request for a motion to throw out several of the charges that he had filed that too late. So it'll be interesting to see if she will grant the 2-month extension, or whether she's going to continue to play hardball and not grant the extension. So that's it for me. Go ahead, leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.